Let's talk some toys in here. How's everybody doing today? It's the man-child. Okay, so today for review, we got some more Masters Universe, Masterverse, New Eternia. We got the Battle Armored He-Man. Yeah, he looks incredible. You know, I really like how this, remember seeing images of him, and then once I finally got him in hand, I think it's awesome. I like, it's just different, you know, and that's what this Masterverse line is trying to do. I already put some, social pics up, people seen them. A lot of people said, "Oh, cool. You know, where'd you get them? Or they want to get them? Or they like them?" A lot of people said the head sculpt looks cool. Other people like, "I don't like the head sculpt." Well, guess what? What's cool with these? We're gonna change. You can change the heads out to all kinds of different He-Man characters, origins, maybe classics, and what we have now in the Revelation, New Eternia. And of course, I'll do that in this review. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely different, unique. You know, just the axe, you get the sword that comes with the 40th anniversary. Looks like get some chest plates, that cool looking shield. Here's a quick look at the back of the box, the typical Revelation style art. Yeah, unique. Let me bring a bio in for a closer look. Kind of interesting. Now, so these, one thing I noticed with some of these figures are changing up some of the bios or just putting a little different spin. Not only on a look at the character or the toy, but just the backstory a little bit. And I'm going to bring in, so yesterday, you didn't check out my review. This was, Jitsu. I think he's pretty cool. But they did change him to a good guy if you read the bio. Now, I compared him with Fisto in a review, like a bad guy, because honestly, I don't take the bio seriously. You can if you want. It's your toys, you know. You got them on shelf. You can imagine them in your head however you want. Jitsu's a bad guy for me. They changed the skin color a little bit, which is more accurate to the Filmation Chopper figure. He was lighter skin instead of the dark one we know from the classics or vintage. The glove's a little smaller. Well, yeah, he's still my bad guy, but they did change him to a good guy. I think he's cool, but it's interesting what they're doing with this Masterverse line. That's what it's all about. Kind of doing a little bit the same with this Battle Armor He-Man if you read it. Now, moving on. So these are all 4 figures. I believe this is Wave 6. So I did Jitsu, or I got Battle Armor He-Man we're doing now. And then Sunman Hero, I think, are right around the corner, which I'm really excited to get these two. Especially Sunman. We've never seen one before aside in the Origins. Also with the R2, I think is unique. I want to bring this up, is they got one of them Skeleton Warriors. Now, originally, these were seen in the Origins art. And if you look in my background, I actually made one back here. I did a whole video on it. That's Kantara from Mortal Kombat 2. But I just got a couple questions like, where's that figure from? Where can I get them? This, that, and the other thing. No, I custom made them because there's not one out. And the Origins did announce these guys. But of course, in Origins style and look for next year if you're curious. But anyway, it's kind of the back of the art and the bio. And here's a quick look around our new Eternia Battle Armored He-Man out of box, or as the bio says, General Adam before he got the Power Sword and transformed into He-Man. So bringing our new Battle Armored He-Man in for a closer look. Check out that head sculpt. Really awesome. And I said this with my Jitsu video. I just mentioned that these newer sculpts in this new Masterverse line are really very realistic looking. Put a lot of detail and attention in them. But it's the way the eyes are done, same thing. And this He-Man, now it's unique to see just a mustache and a beard, like he aged, some battle scars here. Kind of reminds me a little bit where he's starting to transform, going back into like a King He-Man. That's something back in the classics line and in the comic books. But look at that. It's the way all the paint's done. Yeah, the hair is unique, really cool. Articulation, right? Same thing left to right, like we see with all our figures. Go down and up, but yeah, just the shading in the hair, all the highlights, sculpting is just awesome. Bring it in a little closer. Look at that. Incredible. So yeah, aside the head sculpt, of course we'll change out some heads. Yeah, you got the cool new battle armor going. Got the H symbol, or the H He, I think it's called. It's not actually He-Man. The He goes back to He Who Has the Power, and it goes back all the way to Hero, 2000X, King Grayskull. Different interpretations of He-Man, or characters over the years that got the Power Sword transformed in He-Man. I believe that's a story anyway, but got that cool H in there. Now he has, obviously it's a chest plate that looks like it pops out. It's the undamaged one. So if you're familiar with the vintage, or now the Origins of Classics, yeah, they had the vintage you would hit, and it would actually have this a roller inside. It would be, so you're playing H, you hit it, have 1 strike, 2 strikes, and then or 3, I think. But this is just a chest plate. Classics did the same thing. Now the metal is in a flat metallic gray. It seems like it's not like a vac metal, which would have been cool, but the Origins did the same thing, so it works for what it's doing. Got this shoulder piece here, which it looks like we can move it to either arm. We'll take it off a little bit, but with the armor on. So let's focus on the arm articulation real quick. Everything we've seen before. Up, down. We'll test it anyway, right? Forward, back. Got the bicep swivel. Pinless joints can, you know, bend the arm all the way up like so. It's got the, yeah, cool bracer on, but now this bracer too does come off, but a lot of them is glued. So he has a hand on this side, semi-closed gripping hand, right? We know the hinge joint in and out, could spin. Pop the hand off like so. Let me see. Okay, that bracer pops right off. All right, so yeah, sometimes you got glue in here, but so check that out. It's cool. You can remove the bracer on that side. And for the right side, you also get a punching fist, so we'll put that in. If you're not familiar with the peg setup, right, we put the bracer back on. It should just snap right in like so. Okay, same thing, spinning on, it's on the hinge joint, goes in and out. So moving on to our left side, now we know we have the shoulder armor, but let's do the articulation, see what it does with it on, at least one arm. So obviously you're only going to go up that far because it's going to be hindered by the armor. You can go down, go all the way forward like that, go way back. Okay, we kind of have the bicep swivel because the strap's stopping it. Bend all the way up this far in with the arm now. We also have a different bracer at the shield. I'll show that soon. It's going to connect to. Kind of a weird choice, but that's what they gave him. And also have another hand here, right? Gripping hand on the right side with the hinge joint swings it out. I'm going to pop that out too. I'm curious if this bracer comes off before we go any further. I don't think it's... Yeah, it looks like it kind of does. So I've been trying to work on this a little bit with a blow dryer. I put a plastic screwdriver in there, and it clearly comes off, but mine's really glued and pressed in there. It's even starting to tear. I'm going to damage this. And it looks like if you pull this piece back, and you want to get it off, the arm is different, has a peg or something in there. Like, they don't want this off that side. Which is silly, because you should be able to pop it right off and put it on, you know, the right side and put that cufflink on that side. But to me, it looks there. It can come off. I don't know what's under there. I'm going to leave it. It's clearly intended for this left side with the shield. All right, here you go. That's what the Masterverse line is doing. But anyway, so yeah, so we did the articulation, right? Spin all out. We go all the way in like so. Now, as far as this piece and handout, let's take a look at this shoulder armor piece. Now we know, all right, so that slides all around. Looks like there's a little buckle here. Pop it, comes right off, right? So there you go. There's your He-Man without the shoulder piece on. And of course, it can fit on the right side. It's all the same articulation. It's not aside. This, you know, has a little more battle dance. Well, it's all around. It doesn't matter. It'd be cool if it come with two of them. You know, I don't know why. It's like Man at Arms. You get one on one side, but I guess this left side. I guess it's intended to be the defensive side. You know, that's where the shield and the armor go, and this would be for your attack side kind of thing. That's why you got one armor on one side, the other. But that's what it looks like. And here's a close-up look at that shoulder piece. It's not, you know, on the shoulder. Yeah, soft straps, real soft piece, flexible, looks like that. So leaving that shoulder piece off for now, we went over to the main articulation, right, where the head all at, and talked about the chest plate. Let's see how this battle armor comes off. I see a hole back here. That's also for the shield. We'll show that in a little bit, along with when it goes in the arm. It seems like to me, if we move the arms up. I haven't tried this yet, so, okay, it just pops apart here. All right, check that out. So, that's how that piece, the part of the chest piece comes off, and I guess the plate, okay, there's our plate, right, our regular H plate, pops off like that, and that's what you get underneath. Now, I don't know if there's a buck underneath, or that is the buck. So, that's its own buck. It doesn't even have, even a neck sculpted in. Check that out. Okay, so the arms are kind of obviously their own thing. It's front and the back don't. Nope, it's all part of the sculpt. And I think, look at that. Even the stomach is as well. Now, it does articulate. So we'll do this at the, move it at the waist and have our ab crunch, right? Down, back, spin around. But yeah, it's all one piece. So it's its own thing. It doesn't have a buck underneath. So you only get one chest piece, and it has the 2 slashes instead of 1 or the 3. I think like the vintage had or classics had. So it's kind of what that looks like. And that piece will just, and you can see the pegs are on an angle, so you got to kind of, there you go. So it snaps right in like so, and then we put our chest plate back on, see what that looks like. Okay, it snaps right in there. Now here's our battle armor He-Man with the battle damaged chest plate. And yeah, put the shoulder armor, everything back together again. Kind of what that looks like. All right, so moving down, we already did we know our waist spins and the whole layout, what the armor is and how it's designed. So we also have this lower belt armor, protects the, your hips and outer legs and stuff, and the waist. Pretty cool too. It's also same color, obviously, as the armored. So I like that. Now that's all part of sculpt. Cool belt piece here. It's in gold, and this has a little tab like so. I'm gonna pop right off. Right, it's kind of what that looks like off the body. Then without that on, here's our loincloth pad, that new style belt. Now it's exactly the same as Viking He-Man. That's all he did. I'm gonna bring that in a second. But as far as, so with your leg articulation, this is the, if you're not familiar with it, this type of cloth, right? It's flexible, it's all sculptable, part of the belt, it's the front and the back. And our legs, let's do this real quick, go all the way out like so, right? Got that thigh split, cut, leg go all the way forward, can go back, bend all the way at the knees, pinless joints. Got those new, again, Viking He-Man style boots, can spin at the boot. Got our foot articulation down. Oh, these are really tight. Up, right? You can spin, rotate. It's kind of on a rocker too. So real quick, moving on to the right leg. Obviously, articulation is all the same, bend, all that. You know, the boot spin, same type of boot. But this side has the knife sheath sculpted in, just like the Viking He-Man. That's pretty cool. So you get that with this He-Man. All right, pull it out. That's the kind of knife you get. Here's a quick look around, as basic as I can get this Battle Armored He-Man without the shoulder, the hip armored. Obviously, we only have one head. I put the regular chest plate back in, no weapons yet, so you can take a look at that. So before we get into some comparisons, I have Viking He-Man over here. I just wanted to kind of bring him in and show you for a second. So you kind of see, yeah, he shares the same, that loincloth pad, the new belt design, same boots, but obviously different colors. Has the knife. Colored a little different too. It has the same weapons, which I'm going to bring in soon, but obviously a whole different buck. It's the armored, but that's kind of what those two look together. So moving on to this Battle Armored He-Man's accessories, right? We get this cool shield. It has the H-E in it again. Yeah, reminiscent of something out of Castle Grayskull flag, just all different symbols and paintings. Kind of the front and the back, and you got that little peg that's, I'll show you in a second ago, on the arm of the back. And the shield's just going to plug into that forearm guard on this left side. I was trying to move like so. And you can, you can spin it up and down. And yeah, I guess, you can pull the arm all the way in, defend himself like that. It's kind of a, yeah, it'd be cool if it had a strap. You could just spin it up and down. You can't really see even the arm. Well, I guess you can adjust the, the shoulder up and down, but you can't do too much with it. It's sort of, I guess it does what it has to do. A little awkward, but it's kind of how it plugs in. Or you can store it on back of an armor if you want to get it out of the way. It's going to plug in like that. And you also get this old school vintage inspired axe, but more modernized redesign. I like that they, we're getting these now in the Masterverse line. The 40th anniversary He-Man has it, so does the Viking He-Man. It's done in the same metal as the Battle Armor and has like cloth, skull painted around it, so you get that. And you also get this vintage inspired power sword. This is awesome. This is one of the coolest swords I've seen yet. Again, the 40th anniversary Viking He-Man comes with it. It's done the same thing. Actually a little shinier metal. Now maybe like the Battle Armor, and you get the the cloth around the handle, so you get that. Awesome. Then you get an open replacement hand for the left side for like holding a shield or karate chop, as I call it. And there's another look around. Our He-Man all battled up, so obviously I have all the armored on. I put the battle damaged chest plate in. We got the shield on, the forearm guard, the sword, and the axe in hand. And it doesn't matter what side you put the sword and axe, obviously, as long as you have the two gripping hands. But it's kind of how I set them up. Okay, so getting a little more comparisons. Now, we already brought in the Viking He-Man. We know what they look like side by side, but let's change the heads out and see what that looks like. So here's a comparison with these two side by side with the heads changed out. So we'll bring in a new Viking He-Man. You can see what the Battle Armored He-Man head looks like on him. Here's that Viking He-Man head on the Battle Armored He-Man. Looks pretty cool. Matches too. Even the paint on this, not bad. And here's a comparison with our Battle Armored He-Man with our new 40th anniversary He-Man. Now, this is a San Diego Comic-Con version, which is the armor's just different color and has flock shorts and boots, but I already did a review on the other one too. It's basically the same. So it's those two together. Here's a quick look with our Battle Armored He-Man on our 40th anniversary body. Looks pretty cool. Paint matches too. And here's our 40th anniversary He-Man head on a Battle Armored, body. Yeah, it works. Don't look bad. See, this head too, that's what was strange with it. Something's off with the color. Didn't match the 40th anniversary body. I remember saying that in review on both figures. Kind of off a little bit flat compared to what the normal tan He-Man has, or most of the Revelation, Eternia He-Man colors has in, the arms and legs. But it does work. It looks pretty cool. And here's a quick look with our Battle Armor He-Man against our first release Revelation He-Man body. And I have a custom, I've showed this like 9 times now, but a custom vintage inspired head from eBay, which looks pretty cool on it. That's those two together. And here's a quick look with our Battle Armored He-Man head on that vintage Revelation first style body. And here's that custom head on a Battle Armored He-Man body. That looks pretty cool. I'm liking that. Right? Of course, here's a comparison with a Battle Armored Masterverse He-Man against our Classics first release He-Man. And here's that Classics head on this Masterverse body. Now, I had to heat and put it down. His skin's a little off. Does work though, and it is very tight as far as articulation. Can get it to work. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. So it's kind of that head on that body. And here's our Masterverse head, obviously on a Classics body. Now, same thing. See, it does work, but the peg is smaller. But you can position it just right. You know, as long as you're not turning them upside down, it will hold. It has articulate. It looks pretty cool, too. The skin match is not bad with that Classics body. And this was the unhelmeted head that came with the Viking He-Man, right? So put on that body, check that out. Looks pretty good, too. Articulation works well. And this was that first release Revelation head on this body. Yeah, I don't think it looks good. I never liked that head. Could have been better, but for people who liked it, that's what that looks like. Then a Revelation or Masterverse figures has the same pegs as the Origins, and for people who want to mix things up a little further, this was the first release He-Man head from the Origins. See what that looks like. And for one final head change out, this was the newer Origins vintage Aspire head. So, looks cool on it. Be cool if it had darker hair. Which I actually have a custom one. And we'll throw that on too, see what that looks like. But curious what that looks like on that Battle Armored body. And this was that custom one I was talking about. Now, yeah, it had a little defect. It put some tape up in the head, very loose. But comment what that looks like. It looks better on that body anyway, just with the hair colored face. Looks more realistic. Sorry, the eyes are black. And there's a little comparison going back to the Battle Armored Origins He-Man. Kind of sees where the concept came. Well, it came from the vintage, but obviously the Origins redesigned it to look very similar to the vintage. And yeah, you can see how this chest plate, if you're not familiar, how it rolls back. Okay, so we have 1, 2. Okay, sorry, there was 2 strikes. I don't know why I was thinking 3. But, and I have a custom. This is an Etsy sword, pretty cool. The power, yeah, energy on it. But those guys look like together. And this is a quick look at the classics. You know, similar layout with the armor pieces. You take the battle armor off, it'd have the H and then the single and then a dual strike. So you kind of see what they look like together. And here's our new Eternia Battle Armored He-Man on our Classics Battle Cat. Check that out, right? We got a He-Man, we got to put him on some Battle Cats. And here's a quick look at our new Battle Armored He-Man on our 2000X Classics Battle Lion. Check that out. Looks cool. And for one last comparison, here's a new Battle Armored He-Man on, of course, our new Revelation, or newer style Revelation Battle Cat, which is obviously out everywhere in Target. So overall, I'm really liking this new Eternia Battle Armored He-Man. You know, it's I like that head sculpt. It's different. You know, it looks aged, rougher and tougher. I like the scar. I mean, the sculpt, the paint's just gorgeous on it. And like I showed you, it's what's cool with these. You can change out all kinds of heads if you got them. I mean, there's custom ones on eBay too. Like I showed, there's even more. The battle armor's pretty cool. It's easy to change that chest plate out. It'd be cool if they give you the single strike and the double strike, like going back old school. But you don't need it, I guess. You know, one or the other. That shoulder piece is pretty neat. That you can take it off if you don't like it, or put on either arm. Same thing with this lower, the guard, the belt guard there too. It's got a samurai style to it, similar like Jitsu in the background here. You can remove that or put it on your other He-Man figures too if you wanted to. I'm kind of mixed on a design of the battle armor. It's its own thing, you know. It's its own buck. But I guess for what you're doing with them, it's fine. It's interesting too, the loincloths design, just like the Viking He-Man showing the boots. Now the boots, they're big pegs. You can get them off and put regular He-Man boots on if you wanted to. The loincloth too, there's a way too if you wanted to convert this more of a, because you can't really pop the waists apart like the Origins without, yeah, there's a whole procedure to that. But you can actually heat this up in hot water and pull the belt and loincloth. They're kind of wrapped over the hips, and it's tricky with a screwdriver, pull it apart. You could take a He-Man one off, put it on if you wanted to. Again, this is customization. If you didn't like that setup and you wanted to have that with this Battle Armored He-Man, it is an option. But I like him for what he is. He's different. I like the whole setup. It's, yeah, it's cool, you know. So I hope he answered all your questions. I hope you guys doing great. And until next time, take care.